continued load shedding, crime, the high levels of unemployment are some of the major issues that South Africa's economy is faced with. Well, Cosatu is taking to the streets this Thursday to draw government's attention to these matters. The Trade Union Federation also calling for an increase to the 350 Rand social relief of distress grant to be in line with the 624 Rand food poverty line. Well, the Cosatu General Secretary is Phetoe. He joins us now to give us a little bit more as to why they've decided that yet another strike action should be embarked upon to try and, I don't know how you're going to galvanize the South African economy by taking to the streets, Mr. Phetoe. But before we get there, there is this upsetting video of VIP protection. And you can see that these are people who transport one of the politicians in South Africa. They absolutely are a law unto themselves. What's your message to whoever is transported by this group of VIP protectors, sir?
Well, anybody who does things unlawfully, he has to face the music. That's our take on that matter. That is why, that's one of the issues that we're raising in our memorandum in relation to the non-compliance of the laws of this country.
Well, would you encourage whoever the politician is that is protected by these VIP protectors or VIP officials to come out and condemn their action?
Yes, we would want them to condemn their action and take action, not just to condemn, but take action to anybody, whether it's transporting President of the Republic of South Africa or the Minister of Safety and Security. If you transgress to the laws of this country, you must face the music.
All right. Let's now bring you back to why we've invited you to this conversation. Mr. Phetoe, you've decided that you're going on a nationwide strike over the poor performance of the South African economy. Is there logic to what you are doing, though? Going on the streets to strike in order to boost the performance of the economy. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it makes sense because we have been raising these issues with employers, including the government of South Africa. There is no action. We agree in terms of, in fact, there is no positive response in relation to issues that we are raising. And you all know that the power of the workers is to withdraw their labor to put pressure on government or to the employers. Failure to that will have no option but to take some of these matters to court. You will recall also in 2018, 2019, which we are repeating this matter every time and again, that we applied for a Section 77 on the economic crisis that we're feeling in this country. To that extent, we've pushed and put pressure to the President of the Republic of South Africa and the private sector to convene the National Job Summit. In that National Job Summit, both government and private sector employers made a commitment to preserve the current jobs, but also to increase jobs, to increase the jobs in this country. But that has not happened. What we saw is the opposite. You have just interviewed some people talking about the ESCOM, the economic, the energy crisis that we're facing, which is increasing in relation to the unemployment or to the job losses, because some of the business people are unable to or they are unable to work for the whole week, and therefore are put on the time off or they are put on a short time.
Yeah.
And at the end, some of them they Section 9 workers. And we have raised matters at network. And we are saying we are raising it, we are taking it to once again to court.
Yeah.
The issue that we are also raising, we have raised it, the issue around the increase of the social relief, the grant, is that you look at the cost of living. Those workers or people who are receiving the 350 is nothing. The repo rate continues to increase. Once the repo rate is increasing, interest rate is increasing, the food price is also increasing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We're raising the
Phetoe,
issue of the municipalities in South Africa that are collapsing. Those municipalities are expected to provide service delivery to the people of South Africa. It's not happening. And our own government at the level of Phetoe and Salga, they're doing nothing in terms of making sure that they address those challenges that we're facing. The municipal
Mr.
system
Phetoe,
at this
can I come in there? Can I come in there?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. The line to you
fine.
sometimes is patchy, and so I'd like us to have a quick conversation. I'm saying the premise of my question was that this is not the first strike of its kind in South Africa led by Cosatu. The last time you went to the streets, what were the achievements?
Well, I can tell you that there were no positive achievement except that last year we saw a 1% increase, increase in relation to the job losses. But this year, in this quarter, it went worse than what we thought. As we speak today, the unemployment rate is at about 42 to 43%.
So you see, it talks to my point then. It talks to my point then, Mr. Phetoe, that your strike action is not bearing any fruit.
The reason why we're taking this matter to the street is to send the message once more. As I said, we are preparing to take some of these matters to court. Because we have been on the street, we have engaged with government as one of the employer, we have engaged private sectors, nothing is happening. We are now in the vet saying to them, we are giving you a last warning, we are now saying enough is enough. We are now preparing to take some of these matters to court. As I was saying to you, we have already, ourselves and SAMU, we have submitted papers to Labour Court in relation to the Municipal System Act. As we speak today, our legal team, they are talking to take government once again in terms of the poor service delivery they are doing to the people of South Africa at the municipality, including non-payment of salaries and the third-party deduction to the third parties in the municipality. You have seen the report from the Auditor General that says out of 258 municipalities, only 38 municipalities are able to give a clean record.
Yeah.
What is government doing? There is no action that they are taking except to speak only on those issues in the public domain.
Well, Mr. Phetoe, at the risk of sounding like a stark record every time I talk to you, and you will know what I'm going to say to you, and that is that you are part of the so-called governing alliance, which means you sit with the ANC on the table. In fact, some of your comrades are actually employees in this very cabinet, but nothing is achieved. Maybe let's move the conversation forward in this sense. You've touched on the private sector. Why is it that the private sector, in your view, which the president once referred to as the creators of employment, but what government has got to do is lay the ground or make the conditions fertile for the business community to thrive. Why has there been such difficulty to get the private sector to invest in this economy, particularly given that the government is led by a man who was seen at the start of his presidency as a darling of the business community? Mr. Phetoe, are you there?
You have just, I think you have responded to that. That government, the president says, want to make. Yes, I'm there.
All right, please continue. I can hear you now.
Are you able to, am I audible, Kole? Hello?
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
sir.
I'm saying you have just responded and say the man who's the president of the Republic of South Africa needs to lay the foundation. Government has not laid the foundation. And again, these private sectors, after the National Job Summit, what we saw is an investment strike. They're not implementing that. They're not implementing the recommendation of the outcome of the National Job Summit. But secondly, the government is doing nothing to put pressure to those people. In fact, what government does, it allows this private sector to continue to retrench and dismiss workers unfairly. You have seen yourself what has happened in the strike of Walmart Massmart, which is a multinational company which is governed through the trade agreement AGOA, but government was not able to intervene. About 600 plus workers were dismissed unfairly so.
Well, Mr. Phetoe, I can only empathize, because a person losing their job means that that family is going to suffer, and it's not just their immediate family, but those that depend on that person's salary. I'm talking now about the extended family. So what's the way forward? Again, what's the way forward, Mr. Phetoe? Because obviously strikes are not working. Maybe we can get a commitment from you here and now that this latest strike action must actually not go ahead. Instead, what you should concern yourself with is going to court in order to force government to do what you say they're not doing.
This strike must continue to lay the foundation and prepare workers for a real fight of going to court. This strike must continue, that those who knows that they are not complying in terms of the law, as I indicated to you. Today I'm here in Bethlehem, where I'm going to lead the march of security workers who are being exploited on a daily basis, and there are laws. The Department of Labor, as inspectors who are supposed to make sure that they are the custodian of the laws, they are not doing anything to make sure that those companies comply with the laws. All the legislation that we have, that we are negotiating, is approved by government, are not implemented. So this strike must continue to pave a way for the workers to say, enough is enough. Now we choose a date, and this date we are all going to go to court to push government, to force government, including forcing the employers to stop this retrenchment. For your information, we also, government and employers are supporting each other to refuse trade unions at NETLEC to amend Section 189 to make it difficult for the employers not to retrench work. Government is supporting employers instead of government supporting unions, in so that there is no other process that they can play.
All right. Solly Phetoe, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm saying thank you very much for your time. So we're going to have to wait and see just how much enthusiasm there is going to be around the strike that you are galvanizing. Admittedly, he said that the last strike of this nature that they want to embark upon, it didn't achieve anything. If anything, the situation has gotten worse. So what's the point of doing the same thing, expecting different results? Well, Mr. Phetoe is determined, though, that the strike action must go ahead.